President Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen reported to prison Monday. He is serving a 3-year sentence for campaign finance violations, bank fraud, and tax evasion. CBS News Chief Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues reports.
On his way to prison this morning, Michael Cohen took a parting shot at President Trump, the man he once said he'd take a bullet for.
I hope that when I rejoin my family and friends, that the country will be in a place without xenophobia, injustice, and lies at the helm of our country.
Cohen later arrived at the federal prison in Otisville, New York, where he'll spend the next 3 years. Mr. Trump's former attorney and fixer orchestrated the hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal, both of whom alleged affairs with the president, which he denied. The detention center, one of America's 10 cushiest prisons, according to Forbes, also houses Michael the Situation Sorrentino of MTV's Jersey Shore and Billy McFarland, who defrauded investors out of millions for his failed Fyre Festival.
He is a racist. He is a con man.
Cohen turned on Mr. Trump last year after FBI agents raided his home and offices.
Bad lawyer. I had a bad lawyer.
Cohen cooperated extensively with special counsel Robert Mueller, his name appearing 800 times in the final report. House Democrats, still fuming over Attorney General William Barr's exoneration of the president, are pushing for Mueller to testify, something the president objected to this weekend. Over 400 former federal prosecutors said today that given Mueller's findings, Mr. Trump would have been charged with obstruction of justice had he not been president.
Jeff Pegues joins us now from Otisville, New York. So, Jeff, as you mentioned in your piece, the president has objected to Mueller testifying to Congress. Is the president able to stop him?
Well, he certainly could, because technically Mueller works for the Attorney General, A.G. Barr, who in his testimony said he didn't have a problem with Mueller testifying, but now with the president saying that he does not want Mueller to testify, well, he could then theoretically go to the Attorney General and inform him to inform Mueller not to testify. So we'll just have to see. This is, frankly, it's like a soap opera, back and forth, back and forth. It's unprecedented. So we really don't know where this is going to go, but we'll find out soon because, of course, there is talk of Mueller testifying next week on May 15th.
Well, you also mentioned that Jerry Nadler scheduled a contempt hearing for Attorney General Barr. What can we expect from those proceedings?
Well, again, it's like a soap opera. You're going to have a hearing where the Republicans are going after the Democrats and the other way around, and then the Democrats going after the White House, and I'm sure we'll get some tweets, back aimed at the Democrats. And so that will be another contentious hearing, and we've seen many over the last couple of years. And whenever you bring the word contempt into any hearing, you just know they're going to be fireworks.
Well, could this pave the way to a less redacted version of the Mueller report being released to Congress?
Well, that's what House Democrats are certainly after. They want to see the full report, even though the Attorney General released a report with relatively few redactions. Of course, he could have included many more, but he didn't. But what he released was not good enough for the Democrats. They want to see the full report. They want to see some of the underlying evidence. They want to see some of the sources and methods. And so that's what is at stake here as House Democrats try to get the Attorney General to finally release this full report.
On Michael Cohen, his lawyer, Lanny Davis, said that Cohen would still be available to cooperate with law enforcement while serving his sentence. What kind of help could he provide to prosecutors?
He could provide a ton of help if they're willing, if they want to get that information from him. He has been offering to cooperate with investigators, and of course he has. He has cooperated with the special counsel's office. He has cooperated with prosecutors in the Southern District of New York. So he has shown a willingness to give as much information as he possibly can. And even today, before he came here to Otisville, he made a statement in Manhattan where he suggested that he still had a story to tell. So right now, as he begins his new life for the next 3 years behind bars here in federal prison, he sits with other inmates with the mindset that potentially he could offer more information to investigators, because there are several investigations that are still underway. There is obviously so much focus on the Mueller report, but there are still other investigations, specifically in the Southern District of New York.
Well, his lawyer also said federal prosecutors have turned down Cohen's recent offers to give them more information. Is there any indication why?
No, we don't know why that is the case right now. We've been hearing those reports that investigators have not reached out to Michael Cohen to gather more information. Perhaps it's because they know that he will be available if they need to corroborate any more information. That's typically how investigators operate. They go out, they get information. They don't ask people questions that they don't already know the answer to. So perhaps that's how this is operating. We just don't know.
Well, the Associated Press described Otisville as the closest thing the federal prison system has to sleepaway camp. What can Cohen expect over the next 3 years?
Well, sleepaway camp, it's much tougher than that. For those of us now on the outside, it's easy for us to describe it that way. But there is no doubt this is not like serving hard time in other maximum security federal prison systems. This is what Forbes magazine at one time dubbed one of the cushiest prisons in the country. And they say that because inmates have built into their schedule leisure activities. So that is something that they will see here through their schedule throughout the day. There are tennis courts. There is kosher food for Jewish inmates. So they certainly have luxuries that other inmates in tougher prisons don't have.
All right, Jeff Pegues in Otisville for us. Jeff, thank you.
My pleasure.